I just want to show our viewers, what some of those differences might actually look like. A tabletop runway is built on top of hills. You can see it in those pictures very clearly. Normal runway is located on flat ground in comparison. Tabletop runways have deep gorges or slopes at the ends and, of course, on the sides as well. On a normal runway, level ground at both ends. In a tabletop runway, often lacks, safety buffer areas. That's why accidents have happened in the past where, aircraft have, fallen off the edge of these runways. In a normal runway, there's ample overrun areas in many places. In a tabletop runway, the high risk of overshooting. Normal runways, aircraft can be stopped if it overshoots. In a tabletop runway, challenging during poor weather. Normal runway equipped with landing aids for bad weather. Tabletop runway, risk of optical illusion for pilots. On a normal runway, there is much less of this precise kind of risk. In a tabletop runway, the runway may appear closer or further. Normal runway, pilot sees the runway as it is for most part. Tabletop runways have a high risk of catastrophic incidents as they have happened in the past. In a normal runway, comparatively speaking specifically, there's a lower risk of major tragedies of this kind. Captain Thomas, the fact that this was a tabletop runway, could that have been a factor that sort of amplified many of the things that you've just mentioned, sir?
Firstly, very well done on describing the runway and the ensuing illusions. You have optical illusions on upslope runways, downslope runways, tabletop runways, and yes, a tabletop runway is slightly more challenging than a normal runway. Here in Baramati, I have operated in Baramati, and it's not an out-and-out tabletop runway. It meets the definition of a tabletop, but it's nothing close to Mangalore or anything like that. Now, having said that, yes, the optical illusion is taught to pilots at their very, very formative stages. And this, over time, gets honed when you keep operating to tabletop runways. I've been an instructor training people to land on tabletop runways. So we see telltale signs for what students would make, and we correct them timely. And with repeated practice, they are proficient enough, or when we feel that they are proficient enough to operate, we allow independent operations for them. Now, when you add a combination of stuff like the fog, the rising sun, a tabletop runway, these three become a point where you need your 100% concentration. Now, when you add the element of pressure, sometimes things don't go exactly as you've been trained or as you've been expecting. So these are the factors that could have led to this, and your coverage of the optical illusions, I once again put it to you, it's brilliantly done.
Thank you very much for that. Our team at NDTV takes these things very, very seriously, and it means a lot to us, Captain Thomas, that you've acknowledged that, because we believe that we need to see this story to the end. You mentioned the Air India 171 investigation. That's something where the story is far from over, and we continue to ask those questions as well. But you've given us something to think about in this case. And only a pilot, someone like you, who's not only flown extensively, but like you said just now, you've landed in Baramati, you know what these things are firsthand. I'm sure you've faced, situations in the air as well. When you say it, the public at large takes these things very, very seriously. And I thank you for sharing those insights with us tonight here on India Matters. Thank you very much, Captain Sam Thomas.